inside, bolt your doors, lock your windows, because in 1997 something bizarre happened to Coronation Street. The Battersby. They're bolshy, they're boisterous, and they're brazen. And if they're not busy bedding half of Weatherfield, those Battersby bruisers will be even busier battering them.
You've got to be rough, ready, and tackle anything that comes at you.
I think being a Battersby is kind of licensed to do things that you can't do in the real world.
Yes, they're the original trailer trash tribe, and they know that no shame means no gain. We've laughed with them, and we've cried with them, but have no doubt.
As much as we love them, you wouldn't like to live next door to them.
So join us as we drop in on Weatherfield's infamous dropouts.
You don't ever really know what you're going to get with the Battersbys.
You might not know what you're going to get with the Battersbys, but you do know before they arrived, Coronation Street was a very different place.
When the Battersbys landed, you know, on the street, it was all a bit twee, really.
Yoo-hoo, I'm here. Say him again, please, when you're ready.
Everyone was terribly nice to each other, and this family, to me, were the people that would be in a back street of little terrace and backyards.
We arrived like the Beverly Hillbillies. When that car come round the corner, it just reminded me of the Beverly Hillbillies.
Coronation Street had seen nothing like it, and one thing's for certain, nothing would prepare the local residents for what was about to descend on them.
They were noisy.
Fuck off! We're busy!
They played loud music. The daughter was very, very aggressive.
When it's put like that, I'm sure most people were glad they lived on the other side of the TV screen.
What's going on?
You said she would turn it off.
She did. We've had it off for over an hour. You don't expect us to have it off all night, do you?
Then I had to fight with Curly.
He broke him legs and he run upstairs. Yeah, look what he's done to my CD player.
I had to headbutt him. I remember going for a pint after it had been shown on TV. And no one spoke to me.
One CD, Curly damage.
I knew you looked like...
And then one guy come and he said, touch Curly again, you're a dead man. And I looked at him and I started laughing. I says, do you mean Lesser, Bruce? He went, I mean you.
And that wasn't the only negative response the new family would get. The nation was adamant that they didn't want the Battersbys on their street.
They had polls on teletext saying, should, these neighbours from hell, should they be sacked?
And after 2 episodes, 98% said go.
Well, I don't want to reopen any old wounds, but it was actually 97%, with over 15,000 viewers voting to banish the Battersbys for good. But look on the bright side, at least 3% liked you. But those Battersbys aren't always clampets. In 1998, they introduced us to a bit of crumpet in the shape of Leslie's long-lost son, Greg Kelly.
I couldn't see how I fit into this or me as Greg fit into this neighbours from hell kind of family.
And this perv's trying to get me into his car.
Don't be daft, I didn't mean it like that.
Oh, yeah? Well, let's see how you try it on with young girls when you've had a nasty accident with this cardboard, eh?
Listen to me, please. I'm your son, for God's sake.
He was very different to the Battersbys as a family and didn't really fit in. A real sort of fish out of water.
Greg was more a shark in a sharp suit than a fish out of water, with an even sharper eye on how to get his greedy hands on other people's cash.
He knew that Sally had inherited about £40,000 from her mum.
Desperate to get his hands on Sally's money, Greg got very hands-on with Sally.
I've said too much, it's just the drink talking.
Well, this isn't.
Saucy seamstress Sally must have felt all her paydays had come at once kissing the gorgeous Greg. But it was actually quite a tall order.
We realised that he is very, very tall and I'm very small.
She did complain to me, actually, about having to stand on a box. She'll hate me for telling you that.
After being taken to new heights with Greg, the thin air must have gone to Sally's brain, because she got caught out by her husband, thrown out of the house, and signed away a wad of cash to go into business with the Battersby baddie.
When it all fails, it completely turns him. He can't deal with being a failure.
Unable to cope with failure, Greg hit out, making this the first domestic abuse storyline Coronation Street would tackle in the show's 40-year history.
Greg!
Nothing can prepare you for the response you get as a villain in Coronation Street. This old woman looked at me in a rage and shook her walking stick at me and just went... She was so impotent with rage, all she could get out was, you, like this. I kind of backed away and kind of slipped into boots.
It's little wonder Greg had few morals. After all, like father, like son. When it comes to boosting the Battersby bank account, those Coronation Street chances are practically shameless.
60 nicker better off.
Les leads the way, and all his disciples follow.
The Reverend Leslie Battersby.
This has the makings of a good case for compo.
And in October 2002, one of Les's other scams saw him go from being handy with his fists to being limp with his wrists.
Hey, well, get away with it.
And this was one storyline that seemed to cross the line between reality and fiction.
Les, I'm gay. Where was I? I was in Wales. I was at my house in Wales. And I can remember walking into Conway and everybody's crossing over. And in these little Welsh towns, you know, the only gay in the village.
Cheers. There you go, babe. Did he just say what I think he said?
Well, I'll go for a pint. If anyone knows what's going on, I'll be in a pub. So I'll get in a pub and everyone, hello, sweetheart, right away. I said, what's going on? And they all had every one of them had the star.
According to the tabloid, it seemed like Les had come out of the closet loud and proud.
I had to buy it because I didn't know what was going on. I thought I haven't read that in the script.
I thought Bruce had come out and said he was gay or something, the way it was written. I was thinking, I don't understand this. He's got a wife, he's got kids.
So I phoned the press office, plain hell. They spoke this in, I'm not gay. They said, read the story.
The story was that Les and Kirk pretended to be living as a loving couple in order to avoid eviction.
How do you fancy coming out of the closet? Hey? You know, telling the world we're gay.
And so the odd couple set out to stamp their gayness on their love nest, Battersby style.
Have a skeg through and get rid of that thrash and that hard rock stuff. Hey, I might have an old village people LP somewhere.
Pretty soon, the scene was set for Les and Kirk to convince the council they were lovers.
Let me get this straight. You're saying that you and Mr. Sutherland are cohabiting as a same-sex relationship?
That's right, yeah.
We're very much in love. It was just so hard for me not to keep a straight face and do something like that.
The unlikely lovers were almost on the home straight, but when Janice burst onto the scene, they found themselves climbing back into the closet.
Hey, look at the happy couple. Kirk stepped into my shoes already, has he?
Must be hard to accept that Mr. Battersby's found a new partner.
Sorry, love.
Mr. Battersby and Mr. Sutherland, it must be difficult for any wife to discover their husband's gay.
Gay? Les isn't gay.
I am.
A few years earlier, there was a time when Les's worries weren't about losing his house, but losing his wife.
See if he manages to laugh this up.
Because in 2001, Janice would find herself falling for biker boy Dennis Stringer.
It was Les who introduced Dennis into the Battersby household.
She saw in him everything that she wanted in a man, you know, someone to be romantic and look after him.
There would be no chance of romance with Les. On their 7th anniversary, instead of being awarded a Medal of Honour, Janice unwrapped something she wasn't expecting.
Come on, what is it?
You can see what it is. And it's all for you.
Did that fire?
Leaving her with a chip on her shoulder that would feed Arthur Weatherfield.
I have given Les Battersby so many chances.
Well, maybe that's what love's about.
Is it? She had been starved of affection from her husband and saw this beautiful man who she, you know, was physically attracted to. Thought, oh, I want a bit of that.
Starved of affection with Les, it was left to Dennis to satisfy Janice's appetite. Their courtship would leave Charles with a very strange aftertaste.
Charlie had said, oh, I'm not going to have one of those hot dogs with all those onions on because I've got to kiss Vic.
I thought, I'll quickly brush my teeth, and I was standing there just waiting to go outside. I was cleaning my teeth, and I turned round, and Vicky was stuffing her face with a hot dog with onions on.
And I was like, with loads of onions, and I absolutely stunk.
Beside the personal hygiene issues, the secret love affair continued for a month. But when they were almost caught with their pants down, Janice decided it was time to confess all to Les.
It's Dennis.
Dennis?
Yeah.
Dennis,
Yeah.
Bruce is funny, but he's so melodramatic. And he really takes things personally.
If Charlie and I wanted to sit down and have a chat, we couldn't because he'd be sat in the middle of us going, he was very jealous.
You've been at it here, in our bed. I said!
Yes, we were sometimes.
He actually saw them walking down the street hand in hand. I thought, that should be me, that's me, that's my partner over there.
Cheer up, Bruce, it's not real. For Les, losing his wife to another man proved too much, and on New Year's Eve, after downing a bottle of scotch, he decided that Coronation Street would be a better place without him.
Les had gone missing, and he was parked up at a canal. And Dennis turns up on his motorbike, rips the doors open, pushes him out of the driver's seat.
Let's get you all over here, come on.
And then he's got to get Les to an hospital, because he doesn't know whether he's dead. He's trying to get a pulse off him. So he races off to the hospital.
But on the way to the hospital, fate would intervene and Dennis would discover what it takes for a great Corrie exit.
A good, long deathbed scene, you know, and I love you and you love me, and isn't it marvellous?
I love you.
I love you too.
And then next thing you know, you snuffed it.
No! You go home and you just feel exhausted and you're ringing all your friends up saying, make me laugh, you know, or else I'll go mad.
Janice was left broken-hearted at losing out on her second chance of love, and the Battersby family was broken beyond repair. When it comes to new arrivals joining the Battersby Brigade, there are some qualities you just can't do without. You have to be manipulative.
Quicker you help get her out, quicker I'm back in.
You have to be a convincing liar.
I think about you from the minute I get up to last thing when I go to bed.
You must know exactly what you want and how you're going to get it. Cilla Brown ticked all those boxes, and she and Les seemed to be a match made in heaven that would bring the rest of the street hell.
Cilla was described to me as being warm, cheery, fun-loving.
That sounds more like Cilla Black than Cilla Brown.
Hey! Yes! Nobby cow! I'll have you!
Scylla is very much part of chav culture.
I think Scylla is the queen of chavs.
She might be the queen of chavs, but she's definitely the queen of Les's heart.
You were my dream woman.
We're gonna live in bliss till end of us days.
The only reason Les and Scylla decided to get married was, well, Scylla decided they were getting married. Les didn't have much choice in it, in the matter, was because the toaster had broken. One cheaper wedding and this house could be packed at gills with brand new consumer durables.
Come here.
Oh, Les, say them words I'm longing to hear.
Cilla Brown.
Will you do me the very great honour of becoming my third wife?
Too damn right I will.
But the Battersby's wedding would be more chavtastic than fantastic.
You know those things that were big in the 80s that you put over toilet rolls? She looked like one of them.
It's destined not to run to plan. There's going to be hiccups. It's bound to be. It's a Battersby wedding.
And the Battersbys didn't let us down when it came to the big day. They took one defrocked priest, a hijacked church, some stolen flowers, and a cardboard cake, and prayed for a fairy tale ending.
The vicar's back. We've got to wind it up.
Amen. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Amen.
Thanks, Peter.
Yes, the 65th wedding in the show's history was certainly going to be the talk of the street.
I've heard I'm out here in haste, but this is ridiculous.
But despite the day being a disaster, at least something went right. Cilla received that new toaster and a whole lot more besides.
High five, telly, jackpot, goal, UBUT!
But she hadn't counted on Les wanting to fulfill a lifetime ambition.
And Les says to the quote, I've always wanted to do what you rock stars do. Trash your room.
You've ruined everything, you brainless pillock! We only got married for this, and you stupid bastard!
With the honeymoon period over before they'd even been on the honeymoon, you can guarantee that this love match will never run out of sparks.
I really think they are made for each other.
I'll tell you what.
Cilla might have settled down as a Battersby Brown, but Leanne Battersby much prefers to court controversy.
How do you two fancy a foursome sometime?
Whether it's sleeping with her boyfriend's father or falling for golden boy Nicky Tilsley when she was not so sweet 16.
Looks a bit young, your dad. The writer's very canny. Yeah, every other scene with Nick, you know, he had overalls on with him tied at the waist, showing his six-pack. And I thought, all right. I was only 18 at the time. I thought, oh, okay.
Just one look at his toned torso sent Leanne crazy, and in 1998 they both ran away to Scotland.
Oh, looking sure about this?
Yeah.
Right, come on then.
It wasn't to sample the haggis.
You
Nicholas, and you, Leanne, are now husband and wife.
Leanne and Nick were obviously the Romeo and Juliet of the show.
If they were the star-crossed lovers, then facing a full-blown gale would knock them off course.
And where is he? As if I need to ask.
He's upstairs.
Upstairs? Trying on Martin's pyjamas, no doubt.
I think Gail probably disapproved of Leanne because Nick's her favourite. So nobody was ever going to be good enough. The fact that it was Leanne, I think, made it even worse.
Oh, why don't you just tell her, Nick?
Tell me what?
The reason I'm not doing anything wrong is because we're married.
When we did get married, it was the beginning of the end, really.
Love's young dream soon turned into a nightmare, and when Leanne fell pregnant, it soon became clear that she and Nick wanted different things.
You don't want this baby, do you?
Oh, Leanne, I'm not saying that. I'm only saying...
Yes, you are! You're saying that you don't want
Leanne.
it! Go on, say
Okay,
it!
Leanne! If that's what you want me to say, then no, I don't want it!
He didn't want the responsibility of having children. In his eyes, they were still quite young themselves.
Well, I'm not.
Faced with an agonising choice and with encouragement from Nick, Leanne reluctantly did what she thought would save their struggling marriage.
I had an abortion. And you knew before.
He was so desperate for me to get rid of it. He paid for me to go private.
This was, you know, it was real life suddenly hit them full in the face. And they had to deal with it. And they couldn't because they were kids.
In 1999, after just over a year of marriage, Nick and Leanne had reached the end of the road. So Nick decided to head back to Canada.
I love you, okay?
Whilst Leanne's love life has been on the selfish side, her sister Toya was the complete opposite.
I'd do anything for you, Spider. I'd even die if you said.
Whether she was saving the red wreck, protecting the prawns, or caring for the cobbles, Toya was the only Battersby who wore her heart on her sleeve and her cause on a banner.
Toya's brighter, you know, and she's kind of interested in the environment.
If we go on protesting, well, public opinion will change in time.
Well, it won't raise my awareness.
I said people, not pond life.
But behind Toya's environmental campaigns lay a different kind of motivation.
The main catalyst for Toya's about turn was when Spider came onto the street.
I've got something for you.
What?
Information.
I kind of knew that there'd be this whole unrequited thing between Spider and Toya, but obviously at a certain point became requited.
Toya became tangled in Spider's web, but was disappointed to discover all he wanted was friendship.
Maybe I should have spelled it out more clearly. Now we know where we both stand. Just friends.
Wonder Woman.
Toya would have to wait 2 long years before Spider would see her in a different light. And as though all the cosmic forces were on her side, it happened during the solar eclipse of 1999.
Yeah. In some cultures, well, they believe the eclipse is the sun and the moon making love.
Oh.
He suddenly thinks, well, hello. Because you don't always see what's right in front of your nose, you know, even if you've got a nose as big as mine.
I can't remember whether they got to see the eclipse.
You're a young woman now.
I've got a feeling they sort of got down to it, shall we say, and missed it.
Thanks, Spider.
And as the moon moved over the sun, so his lips moved over hers. You know, it went all Mills and Boone, I think. For me, it was a bit like snogging me little sister. It was weird, you know. It was just good snog, so it was all right.
I'd love to watch that again because it's amazing how you sort of forget the little details.
Oh, OK, Georgia, as I'm in a good mood. Toya and Spider's love affair with each other and everything else around them knew no bounds, as an unexpected house guest would discover during the Christmas of 1997.
What in God's name is that? That turkey was ugly. Bit like me in the morning, really. Big, saggy double chin and what have you.
It used to everywhere, that turkey.
Come on, guys, give the bird a break. She spoke very highly of you.
They're big and they're ugly and they're all...
Despite her misgivings, Les had his eye on this tasty turkey's crown, but as usual, his plans would ruffle a few feathers of those around him.
He was basically going to kill the turkey and, I don't know, get Janice to pluck it and roast it. And, of course, Toya and Spider were horrified and thought this was, you know, a despicable thing to do.
This is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you.
I hope you can sleep at night. I hope you don't get nightmares. I hope you don't wake up in a cold sweat with turkey blood on your hands.
Not wanting to fall foul of Les's appetite, Teresa took flight. Hot on her turkey trail were Toyah and Les.
Toyah ended up in the car with Les.
What do you think you're doing?
We've got to find Teresa!
Right.
Hurry up!
And they ended up running over Teresa and, of course, killing her.
Well, if we find this thing, you leave it to me. Do you understand?
They had two of the props guys either side of the bonnet. They threw a load of feathers in front of the car.
Despite reaching the end of the road, Teresa's untimely demise wasn't in vain.
The turkey was run over, sadly, and we all ate it for Christmas dinner.
And her death had certainly left an impression.
Oh, I can't eat this. Look, it's even got tyre marks on it.
So what did Teresa do with herself after she was famous and the work had dried up?
I heard that the turkey who played Teresa actually spent 6 months in the Priory for nervous exhaustion. She was a bit of a diva, really.
There's no time for divas in the Battersby household. They've become the most dysfunctional family ever to live on Coronation Street. And if you're thinking about joining them, there are some things you need to know.
The rules of the Battersby is just get in there and get out as quick as you can.
And don't come back!
Causing lots of trouble, lots of arguing, but ultimately I think they do love each other.
You're my little girl.
Oh, stop it, you're going to make me cry.
The great thing about the Battersbys is that they're constantly evolving.
Mummy.
So long live the Battersbys. Coronation Street just wouldn't be the same without them.